Okay, it's preparing to live stream. I don't see anybody else waiting.
I see live on YouTube. What did Langston and them say?
They said they should have gotten in by now. That's what they had called about. The link that they were clicking, they had an old link or something. It wasn't working.
Right. There was 2 links, but I deleted the old one. Jen Weathers is waiting to come in, so she's joining.
Okay.
Okay, preparing to live stream. Okay, we're on.
Okay.
Here we go.
Her name is Bianca when she calls you, Evie.
All right, I am in the live chat. I'm watching on YouTube, so I'll be able to see any of the chat that comes
Okay, I'm
up.
on my phone. So am I supposed to be looking at something?
No,
No, just YouTube.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm just looking at the live chat to see if we have anything.
I printed out the list of questions and 100% left the list of questions.
I have them.
Okay. I don't know where I left them at, actually. They could be anywhere.
Not they could be anywhere.
Yeah, at this point. What's...
I'm going to call them back and see if they got in. Especially if they're waiting to get in.
I muted myself. Was that Miss Flood?
Yeah, she's with Cooper.
Oh.
You need her?
No. We just need the other participants to be in here.
Uh-oh.
Now that we're on live, can you are you able to give me host back?
Yeah. I believe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they said they're waiting to get let in. That's what they said.
It's only showing Jen Weathers and it says joining. So maybe she should come out and try it again. I'm not sure. But yeah, let me switch it back. Okay. Host.
Oh, this must be one of the ones that isn't on.
Oh, you're at home. I was gonna say, are they in the conference room?
Who?
Jennifer and Langston.
They are.
So I wonder if they're on her phone or if they're trying to use that laptop.
They're using the laptop. Like I said, one of the links didn't work.
Tell Miss Flood we can hear her on our live video.
Right.
Okay. It says joining, probably because she has 2 accounts. Why is she using the same account?
I told them to try leaving and then joining again.
Let me know if we have any viewers on.
It's just me currently.
Okay.
I'm the one watching person.
Okay. There's connecting to audio. And I don't see Aaron or Langston yet.
Langston's
Jennifer,
with
oh, there you go.
Jennifer.
There's Langston. Okay. Do we know where Aaron is? Jennifer, unmute herself. Oh, it's like she did it and then it just went back off.
Or what? She oh yeah. Well, you have the hosting, right? So you can.
No, I mean like I asked her to unmute, but it's not letting her.
Oh.
What's Langston looking at?
Oh, the TV, probably.
Oh, they're on the TV.
I think so. They're connected to both. I say it must not be on mute. Oh, is it because of the way the microphone is set up? Based
What you
on the
mean?
fact that like the sound should be coming through the TV? Is that maybe why? Like, is the sound and like that possibly the issue?
If so, just take the HDMI cord off so we can go. We can get going. I should have set this up for them before I left. Langston, can you hear me? I don't think they can even hear us.
No, I don't think so.
Are you on your computer?
I am, yeah.
Can you call Langston on your cell phone?
Yeah, I am. Okay, can you guys even hear us? No, they can't even hear us.
Okay, just tell them
I'm
unplug
plugging
that.
in HDMI. Yeah. Okay, there's okay. The HDMI cord is normally it's the one that's connected
It's
to the
gray.
TV from the laptop.
It's gray and it's super long.
Yep, it's gray and super long. There you go. All right, now try it.
She probably would have had to go into the corner where the speaker is.
You don't have to
and
plug it back
hit.
in. Just try unplugging it in general.
Can you hear us?
You're connecting with audio. Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us? Oh, can you hear us?
Can y'all hear us now? I can hear you through my phone, but not through the. Yeah, just unplug it all together from the TV. Don't worry about that. I wasn't saying to plug it back in like the IT, like unplug it and plug it back in. I meant all together.
I can't tell if they're coming out of your phone or if they're coming out. I don't think they're coming out.
No, they're on my phone. It's because you FaceTimed me and my AirPods are connected here. Okay, so now try it, guys.
Jennifer gonna cut our heads off.
I was thinking the same thing. Okay, what's the problem y'all are having now?
We cannot hear you.
You can't hear us anymore again?
We couldn't hear you at all.
All right.
Can both of y'all just go onto y'all phones and just do it on y'all phones today
switch over
in separate areas?
Not really, because we couldn't see everybody.
Oh.
I'm trying to be. I'm like, we don't want to not be seen, right?
Just leave and try coming back, and just don't plug back into the HDMI. That should technically fix the problem. If the problem is the HDMI port, that's the technical difficulty here. All right. Now try coming back. IT tutorials on YouTube Live. Yes. Any issues? Unplug it, plug it back in, turn it off, turn it back on. And
Anybody
that
on
doesn't
YouTube
fix
yet?
it. Nope, just me still watching,
Okay.
which is somewhat of a plus.
Especially since Aaron isn't here.
We can't hear, or they can't hear us.
Oh, okay. They got IT in there. Okay, they called Mr. Slaughter in. But I guess we could take. I mean, how did you feel about the show in general? Did you enjoy watching it?
I loved it.
Did you? Okay.
I absolutely loved it. I just didn't enjoy it a second time.
Okay.
And I think
right.
it was only because the fact that there's nothing coming. Like, I know that part 1 and part 2 is it, and there's nothing more. So
Okay,
like,
yeah.
and I know that I didn't miss anything. Like, I paid it, like, you know, I watched it, paid attention. I didn't miss anything. So it wasn't like the second time around when I watched it, it wasn't like there was extra stuff on there.
Right.
Jennifer, can
Okay.
you hear us? Weathers? No.
Okay, so she's unmuted, but she still can't. Pretty much, I liked it. I really enjoy hip hop. I think it's cool that we get to see genres created in our lifespan, especially the like ending part about Rapper's Delight, which was done in the 80s and with a big band, which is even funnier. But it's actually very interesting too, because back then those artists, the Sugar Hill Gang, actually weren't able to use their own names. So later they tried to use their names, but the record company had owned their names.
Yeah.
So I think it was like interesting to see how music has already suddenly changed with like the first song ever. I mean, you think about it, our parents were born for the revolution of hip hop.
Right.
I mean, and then the pop genre kind of showed up in the 90s. So it's cool to be alive during these things.
Yeah. I think my favorite of the show was them showing how girls in church, or just anybody who grew up in the church, grows up to be a pop star. But it raises a question as like, if I grow up in the church, why can't my stipend be the same as a hip hop artist or a pop artist?
Mm-hmm.
But it just goes to show you how not like gospel music is very big for a lot of people, but it's not something that's going to take over.
Right.
Which is why they turn into pop stars or hip hop stars, because you do have Yolanda Adams and Mary who do very good, but it's like it's only
they definitely broke into the genre.
Like, when was the last time you heard of a new gospel artist? Like, and it could be because maybe we're not going to church every Sunday or whatever, but most of the time gospel, like a lot of like Beyonce and them, they grew up in the church and they switched over to hip hop and pop and R&B. So it's kind of like, and then the way her dad reacted as a pastor, I feel like, yes, he should have been mad about her outfit, but I don't think he should have been mad about her trying to just take her own path.
I think, unfortunately, what happens too is, it definitely showed two different types of thinking. There's the people who was like Ezekiel, like he cared about his music, he cared about what they were saying, things like that. And then there was people who clearly don't care about her music. Like she like, I'm not that kind of girl. But I will say that there has been times, I think, especially in the early 2000s, where someone has jumped and broken through to the billboards with gospel music. And I remember, what was it, Kirk Franklin, Stomp?
Yeah.
That one starts,
and then that song till this day.
Right. And then when Mary, I Want to Go to Heaven, like that one kind of like that jumped right in too. So I think the thing is that I think the sad part about music is that if you love making it, all that matters is that it's got a good beat. You know what I mean? And you know that based on, and I remember that being like a part of my life when I would listen to certain music and my dad was like, what are you listening to? And I'm like, well, I like the beat. You know what I mean? And my dad's like, bro, are you listening to it? And then and it was just funny because music you listen to is such a huge descriptor of who you are. Yeah. So whether it's hard metal or hip hop or something like that, if the message is different than what you're portraying, people think that you're with the message. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I realized now that I'm older, like there was two types of music I like: music with good beats that I could dance to, and I cared nothing about what they were saying. I just was moving along. Or music I could sing to, again, not caring what they were saying. It was just hitting all the notes. So I'm like, I'm getting up here, I'm down here. It's hitting every angle we need to when it's singing. So I don't really care. This is great. It's showing all my vocals, even though I can't sing whatever, but I like it because of that. It wasn't like, I remember going into school and having to write a paper, and I wrote, like, we were talking about a rock, and I wrote that my rock was promiscuous. And my teacher was like, do you know what that means? And I'm like,
what is that word?
You know, just singing a song like it doesn't mean anything. And he's like, no, it means this. And I'm like, oh, appreciate that, you know.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting too, because with the evolution of rap, I don't know how far your discography goes with hip hop. I like old school hip hop, so like I go back to the 80s. But like when you listen to songs like The Message with like Grandmaster Flash talking about broken glass everywhere, people pissing on the stairs, you know, they just don't care. And then as you make your evolution through to like LL Cool J, Rock the Bells, I'm Bad, and then we go over to like 90s, which is like straight gangster rap. It's like, yeah, shooting this one and living that life. And then we made it to like the 2000s where it slowed down. Then we got this party rap. It was like living that life. So it's really interesting as the genres move through because, like, the 2000s.
Who was Oran Monroe? Somebody wants to be a minute named Oran Monroe. I'm gonna just let them in.
I thought we fixed that. I thought we fixed that. I thought we took that off the.
Fix what?
Oh, I thought we took off our so everyone could watch it live. I know we took it off of. Let me check.
Well, hi, Oran Monroe.
Is it?
You can watch us live on our YouTube.
It's me, Sarah. It's me.
Me.
That's what I thought. It had to be Langston. I thought so.
I'm like, I'm about to kick you off.
Surprise, shawty.
Hey, Langston. Welcome,
hey, y'all.
welcome. So I guess welcome, Langston. What do you think of the show?
That's what we're just talking about, our feelings on the show so far.
And Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, y'all. Sorry, it took us a little time. We still trying to work on some things over here on our end.
That's okay. We were just kind of talking about our favorite parts of the show as we waited. So, Jennifer, take over the floor.
Okay, well, hey, y'all. Hey. You already know it's the East Cleveland Public Library's Watch Club. This month, we will be discussing Netflix original series, The Get Down. It was like when I looked it up, it was like a little hip hop musical, they said. But it was unfortunately canceled after, I guess that first one was considered just season 1, even though it was 2 parts. But it is canceled. So
I thought it was just like, I didn't know it was canceled. I thought it was just like they told the story and that was that.
Yeah, no, apparently it was supposed to be more to it, but it got canceled after the first season.
Well, I can take the more to it. I would actually like a part 3, 4 than them just ending it there, because there's a lot of things that they didn't answer at the end.
I can agree with that. That's what I said. I was kind of disappointed because I felt like the show was really, really good. I don't know how many people, I kind of liked it. It made me think of like Wu-Tang. I know me and Sarah have watched Wu-Tang, but it made me think about that in a sense. So I really, really enjoyed it. And I definitely agree. I wish it was coming out more. Wish we had more to come. And I wish I would have got hip to it when it first came out years ago. Not now. Because
I watched it 2 years ago and I had to rewatch it.
Yeah, sorry about that, Asira.
Okay. But like I told them all, I'm like, watching it the first time is great. It's a real good show. It's real good. Watching it a second time because you know nothing else is coming is kind of like,
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I heard the story. I'm good. But I still got Wu-Tang. They coming back out another season, so I'm good.
I can't wait for that. So yes, if you like to get down, Wu-Tang is like that. So I would suggest watching that, but we'll get into that another time. So y'all ready to start the discussion?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So we've answered question 6. As this was going to be a part 3 already.
Oh yes.
The answer is no.
We did do
in
that.
Our question. So
all
don't
right.
have to worry about that one, guys.
I guess we kind of skipped around because I was just kind of writing them in how you guys sent them. But
as they came in.
we could start. Yeah, literally. We can start with probably who's your favorite character overall, and who's your favorite character out of the Get Down crew.
Okay, you want us gonna just go in a circle? Everyone just gotta say their
It's
person
up
and
to
we
y'all.
move on.
You want me to start? I guess we can go in a little circle, in a little in that direction.
Okay, all right. That's start with you then. First, Miss Green.
Yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
I'm first in the circle.
I mean, yeah,
Yep.
you can start. Everybody start.
Okay.
You start there.
I feel like my favorite character. Y'all go first.
Sarah, you
Okay,
watched it 2
my
times.
favorite
How do you not have a
character-
favorite?
I know because
Right.
the second time around it kind of changed.
Ooh, interesting. I want to hear that. Okay. Okay,
So, yeah. My favorite character overall probably had to be Mylene's friend, whose name is escaping me, and I definitely should have had it. My favorite character all over probably was her when they were in the room kind of talking about how to fix him when he was ODing. And he's like, my mom taught me that. Like, she kept kind of going back to what her, I was like, your life seemed more interested. I want to know what's going on with you at home. Like, I want to know, like, she was like, yeah, I be out all types of times. You know, she was hanging out with Lil Wolf and everybody. Like, I was like, so what you be up to? And then in the whole, like in the Get Down crew, Dizzy has got to be my favorite. And by the end of it, like he definitely stayed my favorite. I like that he wasn't guided by what everybody else was. Everybody was like, oh, well, like Dizzy's just Dizzy. So I like that he didn't change or nothing, like the money didn't change him, nothing really. He wanted to be who he was. And I was also just super excited about him being able to come out and be himself. Like,
who was that again?
Dizzy.
I was excited for him to come out and be himself. Yeah, Dizzy.
Oh yeah.
Did he? I couldn't.
Dizzy.
Oh, I didn't know
Yes,
he did.
that Thor. Thor was is his boyfriend.
Yeah, him and
How
Thor
How
are
did we
together.
know this?
How did you not know? That's another question.
was-
But how did you not know that, Langston?
Because
That
they
was
didn't
super
say-
exciting.
Like they was just all and
Well,
when they
remember
see
his
But you also
brother-
have to think about the time period. It's not like nowadays
Mhm.
where you get what I'm saying. They could fully be out there and open. Like this is what the 70s in New York,
yeah.
in the Bronx.
He
You know what I'm
definitely
saying?
had an
Like,
awakening on the show because he definitely did figure out that he didn't have to be one way or the other. And I think that that's why it was so interesting that he was able to just kind of do what he wanted to. And then his brother even said, Boo Boo was like, he's a good looking white guy. And the dude was like, what? He was like, don't look at me weird.
let's go get credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Period.
Like Shaolin was like, that ain't right.
Yeah,
Okay,
you got
my
the pretty
turn.
eye white one. That's what he said. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so
Okay.
Dizzy was yours, and Regina, is that her name? Regina? I think that's her name.
Yeah.
Who's
Mhm.
Regina?
The Mylene's friend.
Oh,
That's-
okay.
Nice to know.
I
Did you?
thought her name was Rhonda.
Yolanda was the black one.
Oh,
Yolanda
okay.
is Boo Boo, Roz, and Dizzy's
His
sister.
sister. Yeah.
Okay, Yolanda.
Right,
I don't know
Regina
why
is the
I
one
thought
that I was
somebody up in
talking
there
about.
named Rhonda.
That's the
No,
name that stuck with you.
Let's see. My favorite character, I have to agree. I did like Regina. She stuck out to me. I might even say Jackie, because he pulled himself a few times
Mhm.
out the
He was a
woodwork.
good
And I'm like,
character.
oh yeah, he's done for. He's not gonna save himself. But he definitely came back a few times. So I like Regina and Jackie overall. From the crew, I have to say Zeke, of course. Can't go wrong with Books. He just really did his thing. You didn't like Zeke out of the Get Down crew?
No,
Zeke
I
was
love
my-
Zeke.
Zeke was my
stand
favorite.
him.
Yeah,
Oh, he
Zeke
was the
and
most
Boo
upsetting
Boo.
one.
I could get with Zeke and
Oh.
Boo Boo. All of them, for real. I love
Rob
the
I
was
whole
agree,
great.
crew.
Kimberly. He was.
I love
I love the whole crew. Y'all didn't like Zeke?
No.
See, Zeke was my favorite at first, but I really just fell for Shaolin because I just feel like no matter what,
love
he was just doing what
Shaolin.
he had to do to get by. You know, he
Yeah.
was in a bad situation. He grew up in the
Well, he was
streets. He had to make the
abused.
best of it. You know, he
Mhm.
did what he did what he felt like he needed to do. Whether it was right or
Mhm.
wrong, he did what he felt like he needed.
Absolutely. I loved his actor. I just loved his
I
actor so much.
did love Shao though.
How can y'all love
He was-
Shaolin?
Because he was just
And he kind of put Marlene in her place when he like,
No, but
you know,
for
you could think
real.
you could think Zeke all innocent, but like, stay in your
I
place.
mean, because she was putting everything on Shao, though. She was like,
yeah, like he's not that innocent.
She was like,
and just
well, whose
leave that
idea was it to
alone.
rob Blaze Inferno? Whose idea was
I
it to?
just
I
didn't
mean,
like that he was rude. I didn't like that it seemed like he kept trying to push books not to want to do more.
The streets raised him.
I don't care
it's
if
that
you are
crabs in
my
a
friend.
bucket.
You're supposed to be wanting better for you. If
the
you don't want better for
crabs in a
yourself,
bucket.
you're at least supposed to want better for me or the people
Well,
around.
I just feel like he knew the potential books had in music.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
because
like
it would also help,
he knew that
because it would
that
benefit him. I feel like they were like, okay, let's just go ahead with that because it's going to benefit me too.
Both
it's going to
of us,
benefit him. It's going to benefit both of us.
But why can't I do both?
Well,
when you're living in a community that's being gentrified and everything, you don't see that as the opportunity. And it's like, what if you do try and do both and that takes you away from what we got going on?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
now I gotta
like,
figure it out.
Sha was looking at Zeke's educational side, kind of like not like a sellout, but almost like Zeke could have became a sellout. Like when he did the whole cutting the ribbon thing, you get what I'm saying? That was a battle between Zeke and himself. But I still feel like you were saying, when your community is going through something, it's like, okay, yeah, that's a way out. But how are you getting that way out? You get what I'm saying? Like it's other ways out the hood. When you selling yourself out to be the face of these mayors, you get what I'm saying? The ghetto Negro, you get what I'm saying? That's selling yourself short in a sense. And I feel like that's what Shaw was trying to say, where he was like, dude, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, even when he met up at the little Yale dinner, you get what I'm saying? He like, dude, like, you about to do all this stuff for people who they're not going to care about you. They're not going to remember you. You get what I'm saying? You still going to look like the token person because that's what you were. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see, and I can't get all of that. See how profoundly you put that? I can't get all of that when you're just sitting there saying, F the white boys, you going to be you kissing butt.
But you gotta remember the streets race him. He doesn't have the terms that we have.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak the way we speak.
Remember
so he just doing what he can.
Well, Shao was also abused. So, which was later said too. Shao was also abused, and he said, "I think your mom did it to you," when he was talking to Cadillac. So remember that Shao doesn't really understand how family works. All he knows is it's me, and whoever's in my way needs to just move. So, and then like there's also something that I think us as a culture have to deal with too, is the crabs in a bucket type of ideal and situation. Unfortunately, we want everybody to do good, but we can't bring everybody with us. I can't take a step up because I have to help you every step of the way. Yeah. So the thing is that while Zeke had the future mindset of, I don't care if these people don't care about me, I need to make this jump. I can step on them later. But Shao was like, you need to be with people that care about you. And you don't get that until you're either really high up or you never get it. So it's hard I think it was hard for Shao to, one, lose a friend because he's the only real person that cares about him. But two, he couldn't understand the aspect of, like, obviously not getting money quick. You want to wait for a paycheck for getting your money today? Like, and we have people like that. Remember that Shao is surviving. He's not living. Living is what me and you and everyone do on the day-to-day. We have jobs, we make money, we do what we want with it, and we have a living. Shao is surviving. He don't know where he's sleeping the next day. He don't know who's got his back truly, and somebody could easily come up behind him and end his life, and no one would miss him. That's the extra part here. People gonna miss Zeke, Dizzy, Ra, Boo Boo, all of them. No one's gonna miss Shao. And people keep telling him that nobody's gonna miss him. Everybody comes down on Shao. You would get out the way. If you would move out the way, Zeke would be, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's the other difference too, is that Shao's mindset is completely different. The people that are supposed to be behind him, Fat Annie, Cadillac, they abuse him and they mistreat him, and so he doesn't understand love. And why would he? There's nobody to teach him love.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting.
Well, since we're on Shaolin, one of the questions is Shaolin a good or bad influence? The kid had it harder than others and is trying to make it by. So what do you guys think? Was Shaolin a good influence or bad influence on all of them?
I think with everything we just said, it wraps up to, I feel like he's both. Like, he had good intentions in his own mind, in his own way. We can all see his good intentions, but unfortunately his good intentions fell short when it came to somebody who's getting an internship and, being seen by mayors and stuff that we don't normally be seen by. So
he's the
that's what I
face
was gonna
of
say. I was gonna say
like
it's
thugs and
both
stuff.
because I feel like the intentions were there. It's just a few times you just taking me aback when you say you don't need this, you don't need this, you just need to stick it. What?
Yeah.
Which everybody of our color knows that if we stick together, we can be better. So again, Charlene's looking at it like they trying to come in here, they tearing down our buildings, building up this new stuff, and then they're going to raise the rent. So honestly, we're going to go work for them, and we're going to all be kicked out of this area because they didn't raise up the prices of everything.
Right.
So
I mean, he's correct in his aspect.
It was a lot.
Yeah. He was right about Zeke getting the internship. He said he's like they just gonna get their uncles, their nephews. He got a little nephew at home that need a job. Why do you think that you're gonna get better than his nephew? Why do you think? And it wasn't like a black and white type of aspect. It's in general.
Just a reality
network.
Check.
When you network, if I have a nephew at home that can do the same thing as you, I'm gonna put him on. You're right. Other than the kid outside in the street, it's how mentally humans are, not just black people, not just. It's just the way we are. I'm gonna put you on because I want you to succeed, and I don't want anybody to succeed more than anyone else. But you're my nephew, you're my son, you're my best friend's kid, you're my godson. I have more love for you. He can get it somewhere else. I got it for you right now. So,
right.
I mean, it's terrible, but it's what we live in.
All right. What's the next question?
All right, let's go. Okay, we already answered that one, Tim. Let's get into the music side of it. Okay, so how do you think the Get Down helped an innovation of hip hop has affected the culture?
We were actually talking about this a little bit before you guys had got on, just about how music has changed. I don't know if you guys listen to old school hip hop. So like the 80s, when it was like the song The Message, Grandmaster Flash, The Message, talking about hip hop used to seem to be about, and sometimes it still is, letting people know about what's going on in the day to day. Like the world didn't know what was going on in our ghettos, gentrification and things like that, or at least we felt like they didn't, which is why hip hop was so important, because we were able to say things like, this is happening. Now, it's not just us killing each other. This is happening. I don't have any water. And I want you to know I ain't got no water. So you can come and see this situation. So I think it allows them to see our struggle. And it's interesting that now that we've created this whole genre, here we are with like Future
and meaningless hip hop.
Well, no, we're not at meaningless hip hop just yet, right? We went for a second. We had Kendrick Lamar, we had J. Cole. We have every once in a while we have these prophets come through.
Every once in a while.
So it's still what I'm saying though is that the roots are still there. Now, maybe not Lil Yachty, but our roots are still there. Somebody here, you know what I mean?
I feel like I kind of like how they showed that the hip hop battle was not just between black and white. Like Grandmaster Flex, this is Grandmaster Flex territory. Y'all can't come over here and doing all that extra stuff. So it just showed how we were and still are battling against ourselves when it comes to music and anything in our lives.
African Bambaataa was cool too. That was pretty dope. I went back and looked into that. I like all of that going on. I was like, yes, and it kind of shows that little woke stage that we're all making our way into now. You know what I mean? Where we try to get out of that slave mentality. It's like, no, like we know where we came from and we here to take over.
I mean, I like how they all came together. That's kind of like.
Well, that's what we all like, and that's what we all love to see. Like, but it's like, why couldn't it have started out that way? Like, why did we have to battle and do all this when we all could have put in for it? We could have had a better venue than in between these buildings that we didn't put together. We on top of old washers and dryers and rocks and like we could have.
Now that part of it, I would say, is a part of the culture. I will say that, like, where some of the rundown spots and stuff like that, especially like
holes in the wall.
My father, like that is a part of their culture. You get what I'm saying? Like the big scenery, sometimes it don't match up because, like you said, that's not where they're from. You get what I'm saying? They're from these torn down places. You get what I'm saying? So for you to find music and be able to turn that into something good, you get what I'm saying? I did appreciate that, and that's what I said. I'm with the little hole in the walls. I like the little hole in the walls type stuff.
They're cool, you know, but I feel like if they come together.
Well,
now, on the other side of music,
know about holes in the wall. That's why.
Now, on the other side of music, what I had mentioned before you guys got on was how a lot of singers grow up in the church and then become pop artists or R&B artists, and it just kind of makes you think, like, if you can name 5 gospel artists: Kurt Franklin, Mary, BB and CeCe Winans, and maybe one more, but it's like they're not at the top of the charts to where you're just going to know the newest gospel artist. So it's like, why is it that I just feel like there's levels to it to where, okay, I didn't like how her dad reacted. We'll talk about that later on in the show. But I don't know. I feel like growing up in the church for me was a blessing and a good thing. But why can't I continue in the church, continue singing gospel music, and still get the same praise that Beyonce gets for, shaking her butt? Or,
I think you can. Yolanda Adams gets a lot of praise for just singing her heart out to the Lord every time, and she's on that level of
But
Beyonce.
she does.
You get what I'm saying? So I feel like you don't have to necessarily
up there? Is she money wise up? Like if we looked up her salary,
I'm pretty sure she is. Yolanda Adams,
or her net worth.
I'm sure she worth some money, baby.
You got
she worth a lot. But you also have to remember those are 2 different crowds.
That's what I was about.
Well, they are, and that's why I'm saying, like, why is it? Right. That's the point I'm bringing up. Like, why is it so different?
Because what they singing.
Yeah, because
I can't be shaking my butt to a little to the Lord's song. I can't do that. They got their own.
But Mylene did that, and her father didn't appreciate it.
Even
she didn't shake, but she was in the church, with the little outfit on, and she knew she shouldn't have had the outfit on.
Oh, little Mylene.
Well, I mean, she did it on purpose because she knew who was coming, and she knew what she was trying to do. She knew that man was coming. She wanted to show him, sir, I can be more than just this church going blah blah blah. But I'm saying, in another breath, it's funny because what she did when she made that disco song that was actually a church song or whatever, it's funny because you got quite a few current church people today who were trying to do that same thing, not necessarily disco, but they were trying. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be a different response. Like Ty Tribbett, he tried to do a song. I don't know if y'all remember that Future song. Run it, you ain't about. He tried to do that as a gospel song, but you kind of was like, you're just not gonna. It doesn't. Yeah, it don't work every time. You're not gonna really appreciate it because you like, sir, this song is not really correlating with how I'd go to the club, and so it's always gonna be 2 different things or whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, you got somebody like Yolanda Adams who making that Beyonce money in the gospel sector.
I know Kirk is. I know he making money.
There you go.
You have some people up there that definitely is on the pop stars level. But as I said, you just gotta understand what they do it's the same, but it's still different. You know what I'm saying? What they're speaking on,
and it's on people.
So is it understood that Mylene never wanted to be a gospel artist? She always wanted to be a disco artist.
Yeah,
I think it was like that.
Well, actually, she kind of did she didn't really know what she wanted to do. I think she really just wanted to sing. And that's really what she kept saying.
So she wanted to do disco.
She wanted to be a disco diva pop star. She didn't really want to do the,
which is why
the gospel. She said herself she didn't want to really do gospel. I think, she
definitely did admit to that. But at some point, she did say, I think she had a speech where she said, "I just want to sing. I don't care what it is." True. I mean, which is why Disco Biscuit was such a weird song. But I think that that's what was interesting is that Mylene really didn't have, because she's a young girl, she didn't really have a goal in mind. She just, because she's a kid too, you know, you don't think about that. You're like, I'm gonna go sing. People gonna love my voice. Doesn't matter what I'm singing. People gonna love my voice, right? And then I think if she got more into the nitty gritty,
she was just in that mindset that I just want to sing. I think that at that stage she was at.
She didn't want to sing what her dad wanted her to sing. She knew that much.
Well, definitely,
she knew she didn't want to do that. She knew that for sure. Okay, so she didn't want to just sing. She knew she had a little bit idea what she wanted to do. It's like she knew she didn't want to have to do that. And yeah, since we're talking about Mylene, let's go to Mylene's questions. So we talked about her music a little bit.
I guess with Eileen,
with her mom and her
I
uncle?
liked her because they needed her character to explain that story. However, it was like, why do you keep messing with Zeke? You have your career set up. Clearly, you're about to soar somewhere else. Leave Zeke alone and let him focus on what he needs to focus on. He already has too many factors. Yeah. He's got Shylin talking about, come on, we can stay in the streets. We got to do music, do this. Then he's got his teacher visiting the house, Miss Green. You know, she's coming over to his aunt. You know, they're trying to get him into the scholarship. Like, there's just so many things that he's going through. Where it's like, Marlene, you need to just back off my brother real quick.
Me and Jennifer also discussed this as well. That
I did not like
Mylene for some odd reason. Well, first I told her too. I said I don't like her, but what I also didn't like was the fact that she didn't seem to understand anybody else's problems. Like, she wanted Zeke to understand that she had this, that, and the other built out. But every time Zeke would say, well, I want to do this, she was like, well, aren't you supposed to support me? And I was like, well, wait a minute now, because you wasn't over there supporting him when he wanted to do his thing, you know. And every time you saw her too, she's very toxic. She was literally like yelling at what he was doing. She was like, you're just scratching records. You're not doing anything. And I was like, how old are you? Like 35? Why are you?
And it's like, bro, you're about to go on to a disco career. Let me get my own life together.
Right.
So you think the whole
she was like, so what are you gonna do
was
now?
like her selfishness, or do you really think she really wanted him to do better?
I think she wanted him to do better, but unfortunately it was selfish for her.
Yeah.
Because it's like
the
when he was doing his thing with, hold on, Nicer, 1 second. When he was doing his thing with Shylin, when Shylin pulled up with the car that they wanted him to dump with the body in it.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly he's handling things with his people. You know, they got stuff going on, and she talking about, come on, we got to go to my recording tonight. What?
Right.
I got stuff to do. I mean, I would want to be there, but, and that's why Shylin like, is this your girl? And he like, not as far as I knew.
Right. She was like dumping him at every corner. I think her intentions were there. Like, I know that she secretly, deep down, as a person, she probably did want him to do well. But
see, that's what
happens is above all that was like a literal blanket of, you have to help me, right? You want me to succeed, right? You love me, right? I mean, I want you to do your thing too, but I want you to do the thing that I want you to do. Kind of like sometimes when your parents see you going on the wrong path, they want you to learn and get better, but they don't want you hanging out with that one friend, like, which made him a better person in the end.
Yeah,
so
I didn't like Mylene. I felt like she was very selfish. And especially the way it started for like Zeke to be like, the fact that he was even at that club that night, all decked out and stuff, to give
doing everything for her.
Everything for her. And she's just like, no. But then when you need a little tune, bedazzled, you know what I'm saying? Then Zeke was your person. Right. I didn't like that. So that kind of goes into my next question on, do you think Mylene was any different from her father and how he forced her to do stuff that was beneficial for him? You get what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't for the record deal or anything until he saw how big it was going to get, till he could get a bigger church. You get what I'm saying?
No, she wasn't no different from her father.
Was she any different from her father? No. How her father treated her with Zeke?
She was not.
You get what I'm saying? Because
go ahead, Langston.
Right. She was not.
What's your full thought?
She was not, because like I said again, I do like the fact that she was trying to blah blah. You post to college, yada yada yada, all this other stuff, like you just said. And like Kimberly said, the intentions were probably there, or whatever, but it was still a thing of, well, that's why I was saying, like, did it come off like more like, oh, yeah, I need you to go to college because you need to look good standing next to me, and I gotta say I have a college man, or you know what I'm saying, some type of stuff like that. So no, I feel like exactly like, no, you were no different from your father, and maybe I mean, unfortunately, that's all she knows. So maybe there's nobody there to tell her,
that's probably why,
girl, this
like
is
that.
not right what you're doing and how you're treating him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, when you watch people use other people all the time, you watch your dad treat your mom.
Yeah, you learn that finesse from them.
And your dad treats you any way he wants. You know what I mean? And I think that's what happens when you grow up with a certain amount of power. I guess. I mean, there's a lack of and a certain amount of, but I have a beautiful voice. I'm pretty. I can do this. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that we also have to work on as people. Is when you bloat somebody's head up and tell them they're the smartest person in the room constantly, it's weird for you to think that they wouldn't think that they're the smartest person in the room, that they're the prettiest person in the room. So, you think to yourself, I deserve that. I know me, I deserve that. And you do, but you don't deserve it at the cost of somebody else.
I feel like she's blinded by it because she was raised by it. And, any of us can be a victim of that, where we're raised by it. So we're doing it in unintentional, like we don't even realize it. We hate it. We hate when our parents do, we're doing it too. So
Right. And she
that's
had
all I got
nobody
to say on
to tell her,
that's true.
What you're doing is wrong. None of her friends or nobody said, girl, stop doing that. You're treated, so you won't know until somebody, I guess, say something, or you somehow realize.
Which is where Shaolin came in, like.
Shaolin was on her. He was not letting her live through.
He could have been a little
and
nicer.
That's his best friend.
That's why their dynamic was like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why they didn't like each other, because Shaolin was trying to get Zeke onto, hey, she might be playing, she might like you. You get what I'm saying? Y'all are friends, but she's still using you in a different way. You get what I'm saying? And that's why, you get what I'm saying? Maybe that's why their dynamic was like that, because I feel like you always have friends who can tell, you know what I'm saying, certain things before you could tell it, especially when you're in love with somebody. We knew Zeke was in love with Mylene after everything that he did for her, so we already knew that.
Oh no, you're definitely correct.
I can now that we talk about, I could definitely see why Shaolin and Mylene did not get along, and they would not have got along, and they probably won't ever get along, because until she's able to release, like, not do that. And even Shaolin be able to, like, kind of stay in his place a little bit more when it came to that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it did come off a little haterish, but it's still like, it was still like, what, like, calm down, bro.
Well, I mean, if you think about it too, I mean, remember how lovesick you could get as a teenager? Like, your emotions are literally everywhere, and people do it as adults too. When you have on rose-colored glasses, red flags aren't red flags. They're just flags.
You right, girl.
It's just something to come back to later. She kind of iffy on this, but I can look past it because I love her. You know what I mean? I can look past this because, and that's the thing, is that you're willing to look past anything that your loved ones do, whereas your family, your friends, the people who are on the outside looking in, which can be a bad thing or a good thing, can sometimes feel, you can see, Shaolin doesn't understand love, so that wasn't helping. He's like, you let this girl treat you like this, and for what? What do you get out of it? But
we do that with some of our friends sometimes. You have rose-colored glasses with your friends.
Right. You let these people do these things to you. And I think unfortunately too, Zeke felt like it's okay to be used because you use other people. And so he also might have just gotten the idea that that's how life works. You know what I mean? And that could be also a part of that idea, is that sometimes you settle into being treated a certain way because you're used to it.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's get in some more questions. Okay, since we're also talking about Mylene, what was up with the mom and the uncle?
Now that was the real tea.
Okay. Wasn't that the tea? Because I
rewinded that part about 4 times. Like, did I just?
Right.
I mean, I was waiting for that part because I was like, okay,
that kind of caught me off guard.
But
I said, like,
I thought Mylene's was somebody else's.
Uncle was the mom's brother.
I did too.
I didn't think it was the dad's. I thought it was the mom's brother. That's why
I did too. Yes.
Oh, the uncle.
Mm-hmm.
You thought it was the mom's brother?
The dad's brother and not the mom. I thought she was the mom's brother, not the dad's brother.
I did too.
Right.
Especially when she pulled up on him the first time when she came to talk to him
during the blackout.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's I'm thinking that's her brother, so she gonna take it into her hands first. But that was his brother, and she gonna take it into some other hands.
When he mentioned that her dad had like another kid with another woman, when they were like kind of reading each other for feels for a hot second, and she was like, well, "What about you? You made mistakes. You have other kids." So I was like, "Wait, is Mylene not hers?"
I don't know. Okay. Hello. Okay.
So that's
what
Mylene's
not his. It was a big the daddy's.
Right.
No,
yeah. That was not the daddy's. Mylene's is the uncle.
I mean, we know that now, but that was my whole thing in the beginning. Was like,
wait a minute.
I thought he was a little too. What?
I must have missed that part.
Yes, Mylene is the uncle.
No, you're correct. But remember when they were having that argument where when Jackie was supposed to play the song, and then like the dad showed up and he was arguing with him saying, "You filled her brain with this. I know you're the reason that Jackie showed up to the church in the first place, right?"
Right.
And then he says, "Well, what about you? You've been to jail," and started reading like the pastor, and started telling him like, "And I know you left a girl pregnant and alone." So Mylene actually has siblings. That's why she was also really upset, because he was also saying the pastor had been with another woman.
He was
before
saying he had a past and stuff.
Okay.
Right. So he had a past.
Maybe I made this.
That was the other.
A third time.
That was the other weird secret. So when he said that, I was wondering, like, I thought Mylene wasn't somebody's the whole time, just based on the way that their ideals are different. But when he mentioned that you went to prison, you had kids with another woman, I was like, oh, wait a minute. He like, how is that kid doing? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like,
and it's like it kind of just goes off of like, don't judge a book by its cover, and don't be judging anybody if you have your own secrets in the closet.
Exactly.
Like, how are you to judge one person when you got all this going on? That's why nobody should judge anybody, because you just don't know what they're going through.
Religious figure.
First of all,
you're supposed to.
Let's keep it all the way real. Keep it all the way a bean. At the end of the day, that dad, he was not no born again Christian, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You were a man who you had a terrible experience. You went to jail, all this foolishness. You thought a quick hustle would be to become a preacher, and that's what you did. And you had the big old mega church, and then your daughter can sing, and she bringing people to the church. Now you reaping every single opportunity you can to make it, and you still trying to make it like everybody. You're not holy. You're not. No, you ain't. No.
Because that whole scene of him doing that, like his little final monologue or sermon or whatever, I was just like.
Yeah, because if you was really a man of the cloth, you wouldn't have sat there and committed suicide, sir. Just saying.
Like, what in the world?
Like, come on now. Like,
what in the world?
So
it's a great example of people using religion to get what they want, and not. You're supposed to let God use you as an instrument. You're not supposed to use God as the instrument. So it's very interesting where you sort of find false Christians. We always talk about how we have those people with bad names who are mean to the LGBTQ community, and they have a certain set of rules and morals that you should live by. But there's also a lot of false people too, who you're supposed to, they don't follow God's rule or what their religion's rules are. You're not supposed to judge people that way. You're supposed to let people come as they are. And so for you to think that using God to make a quick buck, it just sounds like an awful idea as well.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, quick question before we go on to the next question. Do we have any YouTube reviewers?
We've had some people come in and out, so we get the 2 views every once in a while.
Did anybody ask any questions?
Nope, nothing in the chat yet.
All right, Jennifer, next question.
Nope. All righty now, let's see here. Now, these two we could probably tie together a little bit. But okay, yeah, I'll start with this one. So who do you think is the real villain of the Get Down show? Who was your villain?
Mama Annie.
Okay,
Fat Annie.
She's definitely a villain.
For sure, everything that had to do with her. was the
Yeah,
villain.
anything dealing with Fat Annie, whatever her name
100%.
is, Cadillac, all that, her whole team, they were all villains for sure.
Um,
I think
I'm
the
gonna
show
say
wanted Fat Annie to be the villain. She was the antagonist. But I feel like the real villain of the show, believe it or not, was Mylene, actually. I feel like she was the real pop-up surprise Sade. Like, it was Mylene.
She was definitely the real villain for me.
It could either be Mylene or it could be Shaolin. It could also
hold on, because I can see Langston has a different idea. Who do you think the villain was?
Yeah.
We're talking about the villain outside of the antagonist. So, the show makes somebody to be the big bad, and then it's like the real villain is.
The real villain is.
So it's
right,
like,
so everybody thinks Fat Annie is the villain on the show.
She's
pretty
the
much.
antagonist.
Cadillac, or like you said, Shaolin or something. But like we said, somebody you didn't think of. But yeah, you already know. I would say Mylene definitely was the real villain for me. She just was.
That's so interesting. I couldn't get villain from that. I got antagonists from her. Like, I got antagonists from her. I got antagonists from Shaolin. I got antagonists from Cadillac, because I wouldn't really call him a villain, because I feel like villains never rarely, unless it's once upon a time, they don't have change of hearts. And I feel like he actually had one at the end. So I still call you an antagonist. I feel like everything dealing with Fat Annie, who she was controlling, and at the end, no change of heart. She killed the kitty in the bag. She made Shaolin come back to her.
The writers made her out to be absolutely terrible, as most written shows do. But if you go back to some of your other shows, you might feel like the one that they built and like the one that you feel is the real villain might not be the same. That's all.
Yeah.
It's just a deeper look into
people that you wouldn't think of. This was like Annie, and I even say the dad.
Yeah.
The pastor. Yeah. I would say Mylene and her father.
Okay, but what about Zeke's uncle?
Oh, he was definitely.
He just got on my nerves. Okay, I don't think he a villain, but he sure got on my nerves.
And I was like, at the point, like, why are you even here?
He's
the boyfriend.
He's chaotic.
Why are you here?
He's
right.
He's
you ain't got no
good.
say on anything.
Do you pay any bills around here, sir?
Like,
you always in a row. I'm confused.
I'll say now. I'm just trying to tell you now, Pop Tiger. What?
I'm confused.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so those are always fun. We should keep that question around. Who's the antagonist and who's the real villain?
Yeah, we should.
Everybody's got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Because like I said, I mean, if they ever get picked, but once upon a time, they had like quite a few. It'll get you. So I understand where y'all coming from, where villains can.
That's the one that's made and the one that you decide.
Okay. The next one, I say, how do you feel about Cadillac and the dynamic with Shaolin? And even Fat Annie, with Annie, Annie, whatever, Fat A, whatever. Even like with her, you get what I'm saying? So Cadillac is her son, right?
That's right.
Correct.
Her blood son.
The way she was treating Shaolin in certain aspects, she was putting him over Cadillac.
That's right.
So I feel like that caused what Cadillac and Shaolin was going through in a sense.
Did.
You know what I'm
saying?
It did.
Yeah.
But still, like, how do you guys feel about all of that? Because you could tell it was times Cadillac really got hurt. When he like, Ma, why is you? Or what do it matter? Even with the record thing, like he really was like, okay, like what do it matter? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need them. But she's like, no, I need my Shaolin. Like,
I think Cadillac
how do you guys feel about that
child.
whole little trio, duo, all of them? Sarah?
Oh, go ahead, Green.
I just feel like it goes back to he's raised by the streets. She felt like, okay, she raised her son Cadillac. He grown. You know, he down there dancing to disco, doing what he got to do. Now this is my other chance. This is my other chance to raise him. Like she said, I'm grooming you. You can't leave.
Yeah,
like,
that was terrifying.
I spent all this time on you. Like, I'm like, hold up now, wait a minute. But again, that's the streets raising you. Once you belong to the streets, some have that belief that you're ours. You belong to the streets.
I think Cadillac is still a child based on the way that he, like, I know he's a grown man. He said he's going to be 30 next week at like the end of the show. But I think that he's still a child in the fact that it's clear that his mother abused him. She had him and she used him for whatever she felt like, because that's the type of sick person and individual that she is. When you use words like grooming, that's a terrifying word. People who groom people are putting you in a box, and they want you in that box for the rest of their time. And I think, and that's when, Shaolin goes, what she's done to me, I think she's done to you too, which is why Cadillac was like crying at the end. But I think their dynamic is, that's that awful, like that family thing, where you have to love and like your family. And that's a very terrifying dynamic because as a culture too, we don't hold people accountable. You say our uncle is doing this to us, our aunt is doing this to us, and our family goes, well, that's your aunt. They'd never do that. That's your mother. She'd never do that. And I think that the problem is that, unfortunately, when you have a family member that's abusing you, you get this idea in your head that you have to put up with it because you have to love them. You have to treat them with a certain amount of respect, and they're the adult. So I think that's why, even though he was upset, he was crying, he didn't like it. He was just like, well, this is my mom, I guess. And I mean, it's nice that now in this day and age, we're getting out of these toxic relationships. You don't have to like your family members. You really don't have to love them.
You don't got to deal with them. If they are toxic.
Right.
And
I think, and that's what comes with that older time too, is people telling their parents that someone close to them did such and such, and them brushing it off. So the thing is that I think that's why Cadillac just assumed, which is at the end, I'm glad he kind of had a little character change and kind of went on and put.
But didn't she kiss him?
Cadillac?
No, didn't Auntie Anne? Didn't she kiss him? Didn't she kiss Shailene?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. She was absolutely sexually abusing both of them.
She would. That's
what she was grooming him for. That's why that was just terrifying to me. I was like, no,
that was not okay.
No,
not okay at all.
And then that also that makes sense on why Cadillac was so into Mylene. I'm like, dude, why are you obsessing over her? Like, she's a child.
Right. If your mom is looking at children, you're going to look at children.
Yeah, right.
Not necessarily saying, not saying that that's how it goes all the time, but sometimes, it's the apple falls from the same tree.
You think it's okay. You normalize it. Yeah, you normalize it. It's okay for me and a younger person to do this because no one is pulling your mother aside and going, don't do that. That's disgusting. So now, I mean, especially, and I think at first Cadillac didn't know she was a child until Zeke was like, she don't got no phone. And I was like, that should tip you off. Like, that woman's not an adult. Like,
I just think the whole dynamic was weird and uncomfortable, to say the least. And I just think that at the end of the day, like you said, I am glad as well that, again, that he did have this little change of heart at the end, because at the end of the day, he's spending so much time looking at Shaolin like, oh, I hate you. Mom just loves you the best, and yada, yada. But it's like, he looking at him like, dog, I don't want this type of love, and you shouldn't want this type of love either.
Right.
So.
But that's the only type of love he got. So that's what I noticed too with he only recognized sexual love, physical love, I guess is the best way to describe it. Especially when he was talking about what he was going to do to Mylene, which was just terrifying.
And that's why I'm saying at the end of the whole thing is that did he really end up just having to stay with her? Because I remember when she threatened to kill his whole crew if he didn't stay with her. So is that how it really ended? He had to stay with her? No one knows.
We don't know.
Oh,
maybe that's why we need part 3 and 4. Yeah. Yes, we need part 3 and 4.
Because I'm like,
I don't think they're gonna do that, baby.
That was Anyway, very good.
All right. Well, did we have any more things we wanted to discuss or talk about? Anything?
No, it was one more. As you know, if you're parents watching this or students, so the show is for everyone. And it's a really good educational experience to learn about music, to learn about gentrification, to learn about hip hop or pop or disco versus the church. Well, some churches, because not every church is the same. I think it's a good educational experience to look at pastors in a certain way. Not everyone can lead your flock in the right direction. So, you know, I think there's a lot of different aspects at this show that each person will get something different out of this show. So if you are a parent or you are a student out there watching this, give the show a try, and in the comments or something, just let us know what you got out of the show, because I feel like we all got something different out of it.
Yes.
I did like that question that you didn't ask. I know we could probably wrap it up on that one.
Which one?
15.
Why don't you ask it then?
Oh, because it's in front of you, fool.
Like you ain't got a paper in front of you.
That's
my
number
God.
15. No, I thought we can wrap it up on this one, but the question I said, do you think the aunt was right by forcing Zeke to do the internship? Thinking he's a good kid, but knowing that he already in the center of it.
Not knowing that he was in the center of a mess.
Yeah. And
I feel like the aunt was coming with good intentions, especially after she read his article. I feel like she came with good intentions, but just like any other parent, you don't know what your child is doing outside the home.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't have forced
She didn't even know
him.
how he was going to school until the teacher came to her door. Like, you know, he's great, he's this, and that. So, and then with her being the aunt, it's like, I can't put all my time into my niece or nephew. I'm trying my hardest, but I'm not a parent. I am a aunt still. So I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna do what I think is best, you know. But at the end of the day, no one is gonna do for a child like their actual parent is.
Agreed.
So,
I think.
I'm not
but
gonna necessarily say
I was about
that,
to say, because I feel like
it's all for conversation, guys.
I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, if you under my care, however the circumstances go, if you're under my care, at the end of the day, I'm gonna want the absolute best for you. Right. So at the end of the day, me personally, not forced, I don't per se think she should have quote unquote forced him to.
They did say we're not asking.
Right. Because you know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like he would have did it anyways.
Because college and stuff, certain things are not for everyone. You know what I'm saying at the end of the day. But I just think what I loved about her was just her intentions. And I like how she was trying. And I like how the teacher was trying to bring that out of him, to not like, you can be more than just this, you know. So just saying.
I agree.
I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, as always, it has been a pleasure, and we thank you guys for joining the East Cleveland Public Watch Club.
Oh no, I gotta get the box.
We have to pull our.
No, we don't have to do the box because we're gonna.
Yeah, we can pull. Let's just go ahead and pull.
I forgot about it.
We might as well discuss it and post it later on.
Check back by Saturday. We'll have what we'll talk about and discuss for our show for next month. For Black History Month.
Yes, and we will see you all next month. And make sure you comment and talk to us next time. All right.
All right.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.